Hey guys, Ava Landon here, and we will be machine sewing our binding on. So I'm going to back up just one step. You should have everything pinned, and basically what you want to make sure that you've done is when you pin the entire binding past the seam that you had sewn previously to attach it. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to do what's called stitching in the ditch. And what that means is you line up your needle exactly to that little crease, to the seam line that you've already sewn. Assuming that your binding is now folded all the way back and past it, as we sew, you're going to be sewing through all of the layers, and that's what's going to attach the binding. So the first thing that we're going to do is you're going to line your needle up. And I've done that quite carefully. The best thing for you to do is just make sure you've got that part right, because it'll ensure that if you start straight and in the right place, hopefully you can continue it all the way around the quilt. The other piece that you'll see me holding up the string, what we're going to do is bring the bottom string to the top. And the way that you do that is you simply, and I notice I'm doing this entirely with my hand, not with the foot. So you sew down one stitch, you bring the needle all the way back up, and I want you to kind of tug here. And you should be able to bring it up. You kind of just need to move it around a bit. There we go. There's that bottom string. The reason that we're doing this is to make sure that you don't get any knots in the back. And as we sew these first initial ones, you can kind of put it underneath your foot if you'd like. You're going to put both strings underneath there, so let me get both of them. And you're going to hold it out to the side. And what we're going to do is slowly stitch around and just go right through it. And this is going to take, it's not a long process, but you do want to do it carefully. The other thing you'll notice is that I do have my walking foot on. The reason that it's on is because we're sewing through 7 layers of fabric, and so the walking foot really assists with keeping all of the layers together without them shifting. You should have plenty of pins going around, so you're not having to flip back and forth. And that pretty much is it. I do have on my gloves because I had them on earlier while I was quilting another project. So that's why they're on. You don't necessarily need them, especially not at this point. You need them much more for quilting. The other thing is you'll see me kind of adjusting the rest of the quilt. You want the quilt on the table. And the reason we want it on the table is so that, I'll go ahead and pull that pin out too. You want it on the table so that you don't have any weight, like gravity isn't pulling down on it, and it'll make the sewing process a lot easier because you're not fighting gravity, and you're also it just makes it easier, to be honest. And that's pretty much it. What we're going to do is stitch around. When you come to the corner, you're going to stitch in the ditch, and then once we finish, we're going to hand stitch each of the mitered corners to make sure that they're secure. So you don't have to worry about trying to sew up the fold line on that. But assuming, again, everything is properly pinned, this should be a breeze. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this, I should say finish, because I am currently sewing it. And that's going to be about it. Thank you all again for joining me on this quilt along. It's the first one I've ever done, and so I'm so happy that we've had so many people join in, and I look forward to doing more quilting with you in the future. Have a great afternoon. Bye.